When I say anime game, what genre do you typically think of? Fighting games, RPGs, fitness games? What? For some reason unknown to me, publisher Imagineer thought that what their hit series of fitness boxing games on Nintendo Switch needed was a Fist of the North Star themed spin-off, appropriately named Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star. And while I do believe that a market exists for an accessible fitness game on the Nintendo Switch, I highly doubt that a lot of those customers also happen to be Fist of the North Star fans. And if that niche doesn't exist, then is this game even worth it for fitness game enthusiasts? Is it worth it for Fist of the North Star fans? Well, I'm prepared to make the sacrifice of exercising in order to answer those questions. Japanese developer and publisher Imagineer would first release their fitness boxing game, Fitness Boxing, on Nintendo Switch on December 20th, 2018. While Imagineer themselves published the game in Japan, they would even get Nintendo to publish it in North America. It was a spiritual successor to the trilogy of Wii Fitness games called Shape Boxing, which was branded as Gold's Gym Cardio Workout in the series' North American release. As for Fitness Boxing itself, it was fairly successful. While review scores weren't anything crazy, it sold fairly decently, selling over 1 million copies worldwide. It fit the fitness niche, highlighted by its marketing campaign which collabed with Instagram fitness influencers. It's the type of fitness game your mom would play. Oh yeah, it also received a short anime series called Kimi to Fit Boxing for some reason, but it's safe to say Fitness Boxing had its place in the Nintendo Switch library. While it wasn't necessarily a great game, it was a decent enough fitness experience that appealed to casual gamers who were into exercise and fitness. It was successful enough to warrant 2 sequels and 2 spin-offs. The sequels make sense. These games include a number of licensed games, and when licenses expire, these games get delisted, warranting the need for sequels with updated licenses and newer songs. Where I get lost are with these spin-offs. The spin-off releases aren't a necessity for expired licenses. They're just doing it for what? The fun of the game? The second spin-off game released was Fitness Boxing featuring Hatsune Miku. Sure, man. But the first spin-off released, and the one I want to focus on, is Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star. It was released first in Japan on December 22nd, 2022, followed by a North American release on March 2nd, 2023. Unfortunately, it couldn't get published by Nintendo themselves, unlike the first game. I sure do wonder why. There isn't much information out there about this game's development, and I wish there was because I really want to know how this idea was first pitched. Regardless, it went on to receive pretty mixed reviews, with a 65 critic score and a 6.2 user score on Metacritic. And a lot of the reviews I found mention how it's basically just fitness boxing with a Fist of the North Star skin. Which again makes me think, what is the target audience of this game? Well, let's boot it up and figure out what that audience may be, if any at all. When we first start up the game, we get to watch a cutscene introducing the world of Fist of the North Star. It also goes on to claim that the series is about exercise. To be completely transparent with you, I haven't watched or read Fist of the North Star, but I am pretty sure it's not about exercise. Next, we move on to an introduction and basic tutorial from Kenshiro himself. And man, this voice acting is kind of awful. In the English release of this game, you don't have the option to select the Japanese voiceover, leaving you stuck with this crap. Almost all the characters here have really poor voice acting. It's incredibly stiff and honestly pretty cringy.
We'll move at this rhythm.
It doesn't help that you basically hear the same lines over and over. It's meant to be encouragement, to push you harder, but it really just does the opposite.
Kid, don't hold back!
It also doesn't help that for some reason, the dialogue is played line by line with an incredibly awkward pause between each line. Even if it's one long sentence, if it doesn't fit inside the subtitle box, then the sentence gets chopped up and you have to listen to it in chunks with second-long pauses.
You must perform the same actions as those shown in the left and right lanes.
It's so stupid that it had me laughing in the middle of these workouts. Getting back to the basic tutorial though, it introduces us to how this game is played, and it's a fairly simple motion-based rhythm game. You hold the Joy-Cons with fists and execute the moves shown on screen in rhythm with the beat. If you miss it entirely, you get a miss. If you're a little off rhythm, you get an okay, and if you're perfectly on time, then you get a perfect. I wish there was a little more nuance to it. I feel like only having okays and perfects is pretty limiting, and you could have a much more accurate score if there was even just one more in between, like a great or something. The best way I can describe this gameplay is that you only get from it what you put into it. It really is up to you whether you get anything out of this game at all. You see, it specifies which move you're supposed to perform, whether that's a hook, a jab, an uppercut, etc. But the motion controls aren't fine-tuned enough to actually tell what move you're performing. So if you really wanted to, then you can just cheat throughout this entire game. If you just swing the Joy-Con in any direction, then as long as you time it properly, you can get a perfect score. The game tells you to stand in a certain stance, to perform these moves with a certain form, but it really doesn't matter because the game has no idea whether you're actually following the instructions or not. I thought it was really funny because the first time I cheesed a level, Kenshiro had a line about making sure you're following the proper form.
Did you get a feel for the proper movements?
And I was just thinking, does he know? But here's the thing, if you're not going to put the effort into actually trying to perform these exercises, then why are you even playing this game in the first place? After completing the tutorial, we get to input our information, and really, in the North American release we're stuck with centimeters and kilograms. Your information is used to calculate your calories burned and your fitness age. You can't really trust the calories burned tracker, because more often than not with these calorie trackers and exercise equipment and games, they aren't nearly nuanced enough to accurately calculate how many calories you've burned. And the fitness age thing also confuses me. It only ever gave me ages that were within a couple years of my actual age, and when I did well in a workout, it said I was a couple years younger. When I did not as well, it said I was a couple years older. What is the point of all of this? I don't know. Anyways, we're introduced to the daily workout mode, which as the name implies is a daily challenge incorporating stretches and a workout. It's similar to the free workout mode. In both workout modes, you can earn points with the rhythm-based gameplay, while your selected instructor cheers you on. If you want to get a workout in, this will definitely provide some cardio. It gives some pretty good explanations of the moves, as well as providing other helpful resources like stretches. But what here, besides the Fist of the North Star skin, makes this unique from fitness boxing? The main exclusive mode here is the battle mode. It's a very light story mode with just basic explanations for boss battles, where you battle, heavy air quotes on that one, enemies using your fitness boxing skills. Most levels will see you battling generic bad guys in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and the gameplay here is largely the same as in the workouts, except every time you complete a combo, a string of successful moves, you defeat an enemy. There's a time limit and a number of enemies you need to beat. However, once you beat the required number of enemies, the level doesn't end. It keeps going until the time runs out. I kind of don't like this. I guess if you're just doing this to get a workout, then continuing said workout will be better, but I want to beat these levels. So once I've beaten all the enemies I need to, I just tap out, stop fighting, and let the timer run out. In these regular battles, you don't have a health bar and enemies don't attack you, so they're pretty easy all things considered. Where things switch up a little bit is in the boss battles. Here you have a health meter, and the bosses can attack you. In order to block, you just perform regular combos. I like that it's more engaging than the regular battles, but I wish things played more similarly to something like Wii Boxing, where you actually have full control of a character, not just swinging the Joy-Con any which way and easily winning. And just like with the regular battles, the boss battles only end once the timer runs out, so even if you deplete all of the boss's health, it still keeps going. At least here you need to still defend, so you can't just give up early. However, just like my issues with the point system lacking nuance, the health system lacks nuance too. If you miss a single move during the defense combo, then you lose the same amount of health as if you missed all of the moves. Shouldn't you lose more health the more moves you missed? It's the same with attacking. Doesn't matter how many OKs versus perfects you get, you always deal the same amount of damage. It'd be a whole lot more engaging if your specific performance actually impacted how well you did in battle. The most fun part of these boss battles is honestly just the ending move, where you have to punch as fast and as many times as possible. My main problem though with this battle mode is that it's just not very game. Like, it could be more game. It's essentially just the workouts, but with really easy battle mechanics. There's nothing to keep me engaged with this mode. I guess it's slightly more entertaining than just doing workouts, but I feel like if your main focus of playing this game is in order to actually, exercise, then you'd be better off doing the free workouts or the daily exercises, because they offer you the opportunity to focus on specific skills or muscle groups. And at that point, why not just get fitness boxing? What really sets this apart from that game? The instructors in this game are all Fist of the North Star characters. You can unlock new instructors as well as costumes for them by earning money through battles and workouts. All of the costumes are honestly pretty ugly and clash really heavily with the more edgy anime art style, and like I mentioned before, the voice acting for these instructors just aren't great. But speaking of the art style, that's a pretty obvious deviation from fitness boxing. I think it'll work for some. I'm not going to say it's the most beautiful thing to look at. I think some of the textures and environments are pretty low quality, but it's certainly its own look that's wildly different from fitness boxing. I think it could work for some. It makes things feel grittier, and the music complements that too. While Fitness Boxing's music selection is full of pop radio hits, Fist of the North Star uses tracks from the anime and provides a much different experience with more rock and intense music. So in that regard, if you're looking for a more hardcore version of Fitness Boxing, then here you go. But is this game really worth it in the end? It normally retails for $50, the same price as Fitness Boxing 3. Luckily, I was able to pick it up on sale for $5, but you might not be as lucky. I think this game does have an audience, a slim one, but an audience nonetheless. I don't think that audience is Fist of the North Star fans though. Sure, there are probably some who want to play a fitness boxing game, but I can't imagine there are many. If you're a fan of the series and want to play a Fist of the North Star game, definitely don't play this one because you have many better options out there. As for fitness gaming fans, I could potentially see this appealing to them. The main thing though is that the fitness gaming community is mostly comprised of casual gamers. I would have to assume that the aesthetics of this game is most likely off-putting to the vast majority of them. And at the same price as the default fitness boxing, I don't see why they would choose Fist of the North Star over that. But for that small subsection of fitness gaming fans who want something a little more gritty or action oriented, then I could see this working for them. But am I going to keep playing this game? Will I turn in my gym membership, put down the weights, and dedicate my training time to fitness boxing Fist of the North Star? Hell no.